while since I've been on one, and Will is here with me. Okay, let me just get started then. Here's all the answers, so keep sending in questions. Also turning into a bit of an old man, so now if I start reading, I'm just put my specs up. Or put my arm up like this. I should probably speak a bit louder. Obviously, I think that one of the main points that comes up is in different aspects is about the quality of our picture. And there's also many aspects of that. There's the broadcast, the way we broadcast it, but also obviously the camera on the vehicle. Yeah. Which obviously, and there's no two ways about it, is the cameras that we had before March, I think it was, gave a much clearer picture and a much better resolution than the ones we're using now. But obviously there's a couple of, I'm sure, very good reasons why we accepted this our temporary limitation in camera quality to.
Yeah, there is. I mean, basically, not since March, but we obviously went to HD cameras as of March-ish, and then the picture was a lot better. You know, some folks were concerned about zoom and those issues, but you know, as you upgrade cameras, there's always a compromise. But then we made the epic decision to go 3D, at which point we had to find two cameras that would fit into a 3D rig. And we were very lucky to be able to find a couple. Unfortunately, they have to be matched, and what we've seen over the last 2 months, 2.5 months, a bit longer, is one starting to decay. That camera's not so good. So we've been back to the manufacturers, and if they're watching, they'll know who they are, because they've had lots of phone calls. And we've heard your complaints. I mean, folks have been saying, you know, one of them's a little blurry, and it is. And so what we've done is we've insisted on that camera, or those cameras together. Remember, what we're trying to do now with 3D is move, and it's easy to say, well, how hard can that be? Well, it is. And not only that, we're the first guys to do this. These few guys set out in the African bush, the first guys ever to do this. So it's quite remarkable that we're where we are. Our viewers have joined us on this journey, when it's always a journey with us, to get where we are. But yes, we are going to lose it. We have lost a little bit on the zoom. We hope that's made up in the 3D side, but it's not a huge amount. We've lost in the zoom, and we are looking at upgrading again, let's remember, folks. So we've got a plan to go on again to another level, and that will be bigger and better cameras again. So we're progressing.
It's also, I think, technology catching up quickly. If you follow the whole developments in 3Ds and cameras, it's just it's like every week there's a new one announced that's just this much better and gets closer to the regular 2D HD cams, and so also basically our rig is a version 0 rig now. It's still a prototype that we're using, and we're using the experience of this to hopefully sometime in the near future build the next version, which will address a lot of the issues that you see on this one. People have talked about the convergence and the speed of zooming and moving, and part of it is because it's a fairly big box, and you can't just move it around as easily as when you have like a little camera. So making it smaller, more manageable and stuff. But yeah, I think it's a good thing we got a new bigger vehicle than the Jigger.
Well, we'd have never managed with the Jigger. It's too small. Yeah. And you got to remember as well, it's a mirror rig. So you know, we've got actually one camera that way, another camera this way, and there's a mirror bouncing the signal. So bounce the picture. Sorry. So there's a few elements in there which are different to what we'd all think. So
yeah.
We're getting there, folks.
But I think sometimes it's actually more an expedition than a journey with us.
Well, yes, we know where we're going.
You have to be with all the problems that we're facing, and up until today, the very blurry picture. Also, again, there's no two ways about it. It was awful. People sticking with us and still sticking with the drives. I find that really.
We like to get.
Well, I guess that's us. Yeah, the better we do, the more good us will get.
Absolutely. It's a good barometer of where we're at.
Yeah. Maybe then, while we're talking about picture quality, because we made some changes today, or actually we made the changes earlier, but we put them in production today to at least take a first step in again improving our picture quality, because as I said, it was very terrible the way it was, and there are thousands of reasons for us. I don't use them as excuses. It's just the way it is. We had lots of issues on the radio link out of here to Braat. We ran into issues on the internet with the way we are streaming and other people are streaming, that even big companies like Tata and Neotel scratched their heads over and been working with us for months and not actually really having found a solution to that. And also the thing is, all these issues don't come to light when you stream at like 300 kilobits or something, because everyone just follows along. But as soon as you start pushing the boundaries, then actually you start realizing, yeah, we are indeed in the southern point of Africa, and the signal needs to first get like 50 kilometers through the air to a mountain, and then another 30. First of all, you need to find where the crack is and then fix it. And I think we've gotten pretty far with knowing where the problems are, and that's why we've now started actually on fixing that. Like the first thing we did now is change the way we're streaming, and basically tapping off the TV stream that was going out from here, and basically then converting that with a program that we run on the server in Dublin, in Ireland. Can that high bit rate, because it goes out at several megabits per second, go out, and that little puny 400 kilobit stream can't go out. Well, that again has to do with the difference between TV and internet, also in money and revenue involved and stuff. For our internet stream, we have a couple of very specialized encoders that basically perform an error correction algorithm, so a very complicated error correction on that stream, so we can still send it out over that network with all its issues, and then on the other side there's another machine that knows what is supposed to come in, and if it doesn't, it'll tell the machine at the origin and says, packet something didn't arrive, you must send it again, and then with all those packets arrived, it recreates the stream actually and corrects the errors. A similar system that we have on the vehicle to get through the leaves and the other things to camp. But those things are well, not just quite expensive, they're very expensive, and just for an internet stream it's unaffordable. So, but because we have that now for our TV stream, bypass the issues that we're having on the stream here that way. And, I'm sure those of you that have watched the drive and are watching now, you'll see there's a notable improvement in image quality. It's definitely not where we want it to be or where it was way before. There's still blurriness, especially when there's movement, but you'll see, especially if you look at the presenter or just compare Mark's head to Mark's head yesterday, you'll see there's a huge difference in quality. So I think it's a very good first step. That's what it is. Yeah. But
we're on the road.
On the way up again, I hope.
On the ladder's better way.
And yeah, also please tell us what you think. If you like it, if you don't like it, if you say it's better but it's still, I was going to say a word that is probably going to be beeped out. It's still not good. Yeah, please let us know. I've noticed some people are very concerned that if they write a criticism or constructive criticism that we would take it as complaining. I certainly don't, and as far as I know, Will also, you don't. As long as it's been written in a civilized manner, then we'll take it to heart.
I think a lot of people
appreciate the feedback.
Yeah, a lot of people will write in or write to me directly or whatever route, and they'll explain the issue they have, and at the end they're usually very kind by saying, "But we love you guys," and that stuff. That's great, but you know, we love to hear what the problems are, and that's the only way we can. Well, not the only way we can fix it, but one of the ways helps us fix things.
Yeah, so that's on drive quality and picture quality. There's obviously another very big issue, just a bit on that side. The camera at the dam. I think I'm going to leave that one up to you, Will.
Thanks a lot. Well, I mean, as I think everyone knows by now, we've had a few issues with cameras at the dam. We've wiped out 2 this year, and they're not cheap items. And then we've always had in mind to move on to an end game, which is a lot better system. And we were hoping to cruise our way up to that. But the problem was that the latest camera, or the last camera, suffered in some bad weather. So we've made the decision that we will go from straight to the end game. And that's going to take a little longer than we would like. But we're going straight there too. So we hope to have one of, if not the, we're very arrogant in that maybe, but best waterhole cameras anywhere. And some of the special features it's going to have is white light at night, and I know that's something we've thought long and hard about. taken our lead from other people who've had success with that, talked with the management here who want that as well for the lodge. So that'll make it different. On a night we'll actually have, hopefully it'll be, the waterhole will be in a white light or near white light, in other words not IR, and so we'll have colour. And the next big feature we wish to implement is a system where during the nighttime hours, or our nighttime hours, Central African time, a band, a group of viewers have the ability, in some sort of shift regime or rota or whatever we work out, to be able to steer the camera remotely from their PC at home, wherever they are. Technology is there, we have to implement it, and there's a few, as ever, little hurdles to get through. We don't want a system where just anybody can grab hold and sort of, we've got various people tussling for control, but we do want to enable our loyal viewers to have that opportunity, and that will come along shortly. Important as well to emphasise it's for the night time and when Sapiwa isn't here. I know there's been a few guys ask, you know, what about Sapiwa? You know, we love Sapiwa to death and she isn't going anywhere, unless she wants to. And she's going to stay and do the daytime as she does now, but probably more than that. She might take a lead role in organising that and training people who come along, and you know, to give her a little bit more responsibility, which I know she's keen to have. So that's the plan. Give us some time. We're working our way towards it. But what you will end up with is a world-beating dam camera, and it'll also, interestingly, it'll be the template from which we build these sort of systems in the future. That's the plan, folks.
Yeah. Well, okay. Well.
Yeah.
Really looking
well,
forward
watch
to
this
that,
space.
So. Yeah. Hopefully soon.
Yeah, as soon as we can.
Okay. See, there were lots of questions. Obviously, also as with things like that, many questions were asked many times. Which is also why I'm not saying this viewer asked that question, because many questions came in from different people. Yeah, one thing actually also came back is somebody asked, at certain times, typically when something goes wrong, suddenly you see the squeezed picture with actually two pictures in it, which is how our 3D goes out. And how that exactly works and how that gets back to a 2D picture. Well, basically the answer to that is that, as Will said, we have two cameras in the rig, or basically the same goes for any 3D system, and each of them takes a proper image, which is the normal size, but in order to broadcast that through equipment that can handle it, and it has been set up for original 2D, what needs to be done is both those pictures, which actually would end up like twice as wide, need to be squeezed in half. So you get basically one picture with the left half is the left eye and the right half is the right eye. And then when it arrives at a TV that's capable of doing 3D or the 3D player like we have on our site, then that side actually takes the left eye and the right eye and spreads them out a little bit and puts them like an overlay over each other. And then depending on, you know, on the web you can watch it with your anaglyph glasses, and the special TVs work with polarization. There's all kinds of technologies for that, so that you can watch the 3D picture. So that's how the 3D picture gets created. For the 2D it's actually pretty much the same. The only thing is then we use one of the eyes, and we use that program called FFmpeg, which runs on our server. And what we do is basically we stretch it horizontally to twice its width, and then we put it in the player. So it's basically the same as the 3D, only with the 3D you put both pictures on. With the 2D you only take one picture on, so you see a normal 2D picture. So that's how that squeezed picture gets converted into either a full 3D or a full